How's it going, everybody? Ed Ricker here with a product from Freewell Gear for the Mavic Pro. This is the 4-piece filter pack for the Mavic, and it includes the circular polarizer and 3 neutral density filters, the 4, the 8, and the 16 NDs. So these are gonna help us control our image a lot better with the Mavic Pro. As you know, the Mavic Pro doesn't have any sort of iris control like that. It simply has ISO and shutter speed in the manual settings. So if you wanna have a lower shutter speed, you've gotta use some sort of neutral density filter. Plus, a circular polarizer just makes things look awesome. So let's open this up, see what we have. So here's our lens cleaner that came with it, as well as the filters themselves. So here is the neutral density 4, the neutral density 8, the neutral density 16, and the circular polarizer right there. Now, a lot of people may say, well, I can get a perfectly exposed shot with the Mavic by just raising the shutter speed, and that darkens the image. Yes, but you lose that filmic quality that you get when you have a slower shutter speed. If you watch a movie or if you watch a TV show or something like that, you'll see there is a little bit of motion blur. And if the film or movie is shot in 24 frames per second, it's likely they had a 1/48th second shutter speed to get that certain motion blur and filmic quality. Of course, if you're shooting sports or you're shooting a car driving by really fast, you might want a higher shutter speed, so keep that in mind. So since it's about midday, I would probably end up using an ND16. Polarizers, on the other hand, actually block certain types of polarized light, and so they end up reducing reflections on non-metallic surfaces, maybe water, or maybe darkening the blue of the sky. If you actually look at a tree outside, there are reflections on those leaves that cause it to not look so green to our eye. And turning the polarizer actually reduces or enhances that effect, and you can actually see trees just become greener magically right in front of your eyes. It's pretty cool. So polarizers cause images to look a little bit more vivid. Neutral density filters cause images to just look darker. So I'm gonna try the, let's go, ND4. It's the first one I picked up. The inside of the filter actually feels like it has a little bit of rubber or something that kind of grips the gimbal. So the best way to do it would be to hold the drone and then the gimbal with your fingers just like this, and then use your other hand to put the filter on, and you support the gimbal so that you don't end up damaging the gimbal as you press. Okay, we're turning on the drone. We have the lens filter on. Okay, looks like we're good to go. So I'm back, and it's a new day because I wanted to actually spend a couple days with these filters before I reviewed them entirely. The ND16 filter is a much more warmer image than the ND4 and the ND8 images. And so I'm not really sure why that is. Perhaps it's just the quality of the glass. Neutral density, the word neutral would mean that it wouldn't colorize the image. But of course, you also have to take into consideration the fact that these are a lot less expensive than some of your more high-end Mavic Pro filters. The fact that the ND16 was coloring the image a lot more warmly than the other filters really makes me kind of concerned. It really didn't look good on skin tones, and it really made things just look like maybe the white balance was off on my camera. Also the polarizer, maybe I wasn't quite getting so much of the polarizing effect as I would have with other types of polarizers. So I guess it comes down to you decide as the consumer. Do you want to pay a little bit extra and maybe get some higher quality glass? Or are you okay with just being able to lower your shutter speed and maintain proper exposure, keeping into consideration the fact that you might have a bit of a warmer image on the ND16? Some people may not notice quite so much. They might notice that this lens pack is very loose. And so if you're putting these filters inside and then you're moving around quickly, they don't really stay in and they keep falling out. So I think Freewell Gear could probably think of a better way to hold their filters, because this is just kind of a cheap way. I don't enjoy this filter pouch. Also, this type of lens pen is designed for much larger filters, like my normal camcorder size filters. Works really well for these, but for a smaller filter, like these Freewell Mavic filters, you really need something more like a lens cloth, and I wish they had packed a lens cloth in there as opposed to this huge pen. I will put the purchase link to these filters in my video description, but you just use your discretion. If this is something that you think will work for you, go for it. As always, subscribe if you liked the video, and until next time, happy flying.